the US, I think, spends $17 billion on executive search every year. Like, that's the size of that market where it's like a headhunter reaching out to someone. And it's not just like senior level roles where that's happening. That's happened in junior level software engineer roles.
Totally.
The cost of like getting interns is sometimes more than the amount that you'll pay the interns in terms of not acquisition, but like, you'll advertise in places. And what I think is a really exciting trend is, unfortunately, caused by the economic situation, people need to be able to talk about efficiencies in the process. Mm-hmm. And that's where their focus is. And so that's causing recruiting to sort of be like, what are the costs of all of our channels and which ones are actually doing well for us and not? Because there's it's becoming a lot more data driven than it's been in the past. And so what I love about recruiters is that they're like, our hiring managers are engineers. They want us only to advertise on like Stack Overflow or GitHub jobs, but we don't get any applicants from there. And so like, they've been like, we want to know about niche job boards because we want to go back to the people and say, this is the evidence, this is the cost. Like, we could pay a candidate $100 per candidate and it'd be cheaper than advertising on those platforms. And that's wild to me that you could pay to get so little and have no visibility into that process.
More. What am I doing?
Yeah, I know. Like, I'm like, if you just put our Craigslist ads for applications, it might actually be cheaper. So, I mean, I think there's a reckoning because this whole field has kind of got to go through that sense of like, what's the cost of, not a cost of a candidate, but like, how do we get to more candidates more efficiently?
Yeah. Candidate acquisition costs. We can just say CAC again instead of customer acquisition costs.
We can say CAC again, and it's like, what's their lifetime value?
Yeah.
Like, we haven't kind of gotten to that level of sophistication.
That's next. Yeah.
But I think it's an intuitive step. I think one thing that I am always amazed by, though, even though marketing has had this idea for a long time, is that their stacks are as bloated as everyone else's. Like, it's like I hear of so many point solutions that do this thing to this tiny little step, but they don't take you the full way around. Like, our marketing stack is as bloated as anyone else's. And that's an area where I think recruiters can be a little bit, or recruiting teams can be a little bit more efficient.